Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to my podcast. I'm back after a very, very long hiatus. Pause the music. No, I haven't, made another one of these, made another video game podcast, made another just video game, just content in a very, very long time. I apologize. I'll be back on it kind of in the next couple of days. I got a lot of stuff planned. Don't worry about it. Unpause my music. Maybe worry about it a little bit. I have like some ideas with Red Dead Redemption 2 and Mafia Definitive Edition. I don't want to get into it yet. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Unpause it. So today, what do we got? Night City Wire, part 4, I think. Episode 4. I did not want to cast this one. I did not want to talk about it because I felt that the other like 1 or 2 were kind of lackluster because they didn't have any. Pause the music. They didn't have a lot of gameplay for me to look at. They just had trailers. They just had, like some tidbits of gameplay here and there. I mean, the game is out in less than a month. Technically a little bit over a month. It's like a month and like 3 or... What's today? It's the 16th? 15th. A month and 4 days. It's out, right? I can't wait. But Jesus Christ, they haven't released a lot of gameplay since like June. Yeah, since June. Unpause my music. So, I'm excited for this Night City Wire episode because it's going to have information about the vehicles, which, to be honest with you, we don't really have a lot of information about the vehicles unless you read The World of Cyberpunk 2077. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to get into Night City Wire episode 4 right here on 24's podcast. All right. Still on that Promare craze. If you haven't seen Promare, I don't know what you're doing. If you haven't seen Promare. It's an awesome movie. So before we get started, there's like 14 seconds left on the clock, on the play clock, on the timer, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know what they're going to show off. I saw like some teasers here and there on Twitter. I haven't actually seen the event. I'm watching it a little bit after, like an hour after it was shown off. Not because I planned it, but because I was eating and stuff like that. I had some other stuff to do. But I'm kind of oh yeah, they're just going to run the trailer that they always run. I'm kind of interested to see the vehicles, the vehicle customization. I heard that there was the ability to customize your vehicle as well, like put weapons on it. I don't know if it's like, I think it's already been confirmed that you can't actually like customize your vehicle, like change the color. Actually, I don't know. I know that you can upgrade it and put different parts and different like tires and different stock bodies and things of that nature on it. I don't necessarily know if you can like change the color of it. I don't know. There's been some things that have been leaked, and maybe not leaked, but like talked about. I don't know. We'll see. They're probably going to talk about all that stuff on the event. Anyways. Oh wait, that's way too fucking loud. City of dreams, city of...
Welcome to Night City Wire, episode 4. The show.
Hold on, let me just do this already. All right, there we go. That's better.
From us at CD Projekt Red, where we talk about all things Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to start today's episode by giving you a look at just some of the vehicles you might.
All right. Oh, wait. I'll pause it after she's done with this.
Secure during your time in Night City, and having a chat to senior vehicle artist Paul, who's going to give us a little bit more information before we take you behind the scenes and a look at the lengths the teams have gone to bring vehicles to life. We're also going to have news on an exciting collaboration. Then we're going to be talking about fashion and styles in Night City before we recap the incredibly talented finalists in our Cyberpunk cosplay contest. We'll then wrap up today's episode with some news about Stadia. There is a lot to talk about, so let's get started.
No, I don't want to talk about Stadia like at all. I don't care about Stadia. I care about the actual gameplay, right? So let's kind of go back and let's watch like a little bit more of this. So the first thing that I noticed, like when she was kind of talking about whatever she was talking about, was the new clips, the new gameplay that she actually, or that they actually have for the game. Like, this is all new. This is all new, right? So this is the motorbike. This looks like a street race, I think. And these are obviously the NCPD. This is you on your bike. Yeah, this is all new gameplay. But I want to actually see it be properly put into like the context that I want to see it. I want more. I want like not like this edited stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like as soon as we're done with this whole thing, as soon as we're done with with I don't even know what I'm pointing at right now. With all this stuff, with the gameplay part, I'm probably just gonna start fast forwarding because I kind of don't care about the non-gameplay elements. The cosplay aspect that she was talking about was kind of cool, but once again, I would love to play the game and not see the cosplay. All right, here we go.
In a huge open world like Night City, you need a chill ride to get around fast. And in Cyberpunk 2077, there are tons of cool vehicles to choose from.
Get this. 4-liter engine, 6-cylinder, goes from 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds. You fucking believe that?
We've crafted every car and motorbike with amazing attention to detail. On the chassis, the body, not to mention the interiors. You can expect every one not only to look unique, but to deliver a unique driving experience.
All right, show me what you got.
Don't expect advanced tech or luxurious material.
I don't know if I should pause already, because there was so much stuff that they just showed off. I'm kind of just going to let it play. I'm going to let it run out, and then I'll keep on, then I'll talk about it. I'll let it play on.
Here? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it's not the size that counts, I guess.
This class is mostly utility vehicles and low-end clunkers made for every pocket.
Hold on. It's a wreck.
My damn wreck.
Well, definitely no guy or girl magnet.
If you need to impress, look to this class alone.
I'm putting my ride on the line. Either you match it in cash, or you can forget about the fight.
With these wheels, no expense has been spared, no thrill ignored. Their plush interiors decked out in all the latest tech, while you get to sit back and enjoy the ride. Masterful engineering and practical design. Trucks and tanks for when you need power and brute force.
Hell of a machine.
Neat beast. My pride and joy.
And these monsters are literally unstoppable. These are for chooms who love the smell of exhaust and the roar of street wildlife. Their powerful engines and exchangeable parts make them perfect for tuning.
Come on! I want to smell that choo-choo burn!
Whether it's street racing, running from the NCPD, or just showing off in the streets, with these high-powered beasts, you will have only respect.
Oh yeah, like that!
If you need speed and armor, the hypercar class is for you. It means precise bodywork, built-in LiDAR arrays, and really expensive materials.
Imagine you're sitting on a pile of eddies. Probably less than 1,000 people in the world can afford the erudite.
Not your typical urban vehicle.
They will take you places you never dreamed you'd go. Oh, and original vehicles are not all you'll find in 2077. We also found room on our roster for some true automotive icons.
Floor it, V.
Paul, thank you.
Okay, so that's it. Lot to talk about. A lot more than I expected to actually talk about. Let me kind of go back all the way to the beginning. Out of the fucking event. What am I doing right now? Jesus Christ. So, the whole little trailer that they showed off was essentially to show off the different car types, the different cars that you have within the future of, not the future, within the actual video game. And it all, like the thing that I notice about Cyberpunk 2077 is that there's always these layers to whatever you're doing, right? And usually the layers are by how the layers are kind of defined is by access to whatever you're trying to get, and that access usually is by either having a shit ton of money or having connections, right? So in this particular case, when it comes to the vehicles, it seems like it's a little bit of both. With some of the more rare types, you have to have the connections, but with some of the more kind of, I would say, more like generic types of vehicles, it's just money. If you have money, you can go to a dealer and you can buy a car. In this particular case, when it comes to the economy class of cars, which are, you know, the piece of shit cars, one looks like a smart car, by the way. In fact, it is a smart car. It's the red one on the right. In this particular case, the economy cars are just the cars that you can pick up off the side of the street. So when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077, there's these chips within, I think, the wrist or the hands of the citizens of Night City, and they're like identification chips or hands. Like if you have it in your hand, it unlocks your car door because your car door like reads your chip, and it's like boom, like this is whoever this is. This is V, so that's V's chip. I'll open up the door for him or her, whatever, and they can get in because I'm the car, right? I'm like the chip. The car reads your chip, and it's like, oh, I'm registered to this person, right? It's the same thing that happens with your doors and other things that are registered to you. Now, the issue is that these, like the chip within your hand, it's easy to like duplicate it's easy to hack like systems like this. It's easy to hack these types of cars, the economy cars, other types of cars. And then on top of that, they actually show you stealing one of the cars. This is you when you're, when you're a nomad and you're kind of trying to test it out. But yeah, these are POS cars, to say the least. What is it? Mackay guy? I don't know. And it shows like all of these different stats, or maybe not even stats, more along the lines of just like a description. Group, economy, manufacturer, Mackay, model, my or Mamie. I don't know. Country, Japan. Production year, 2032. Style, Entropism. Horsepower, 70. Yikes. Body, bubble, seats to number of doors to, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all right here. The interesting part is when they started to like drive the frickin' thing like up a flight of stairs, and they then started to run over people and stuff like that. I know that Cyberpunk has kind of tried to distance itself from GTA 5, and they're trying to like say, hey, we're not GTA 5, we're an RPG, and this was very GTA 5-esque. Like, this was like running up a flight of stairs with a smart car and running over people, and then those same people start to shoot at you. That's so GTA 5. Like, look at this. Just running up a flight of stairs, and then you start to see bullets and stuff like that. They showed a Thornton, a station wagon, essentially. Is there anything else? Nope. That I need to be aware of? No, not really. And then they show you kind of just, like, doing donuts and stealing cars and being an absolute denizen and a degenerate, which should be a lot of fun. Also, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed this, if you're watching this. I don't know if you've noticed this about the game. The game looks finished. It looks finished, and it looks really, really cool. And they constantly talk about, or they used to talk about, the theme of the game being density, right? You know, kind of being claustrophobic and feeling claustrophobic. I can't pull up the gameplay that where you're driving around the Badlands, but the Badlands is supposed to be this kind of like breath of fresh air. It's supposed to be this very open area, and Night City is supposed to be this very claustrophobic, very dense area. And you're starting to see that with, you know, a lot of the areas that you're driving around in, right? Like this area, for example, this looks like some type of favela, you know? Like with just all of the stacks of buildings just stacked on top of each other, you know, you being under an overpass or an underpass, I don't know the proper terminology, and you kind of driving around, and it looks like you're going to a poor section or district in Night City, as kind of like from the right-hand side. This looks like the city center of Night City. So there's a lot of different stuff within the game when it comes to the density of the game, and that's just like something that I noticed just from, you know, them driving around and kind of exploring the city and stuff like that. I'll let it kind of run on from here as I talk about the you know, the different cars and stuff. Like, I want to see you do this live. I want to see, and by the way, right, just so we're clear on this, they 100% probably have, like, an actual, like, a build of the game that they're pretty satisfied with, that they probably will play around with and release gameplay for and trailers for and et cetera, right? And this is probably the build of the game that they're doing it on. Like notice how there's no watermark, work in progress, you know, type of thing, because the game is done. They're making it, they're mass distributing and mass producing it. The game's done. And it seems like this is going to be, either this is the final build of the game, or it's pretty damn close. And there's you stealing a POS once again. That's interesting that you can steal cop cars. I mean, it's not, like, incredibly surprising, but it's interesting that you can steal it. And again, here's you on, like, almost a 5-lane highway. I don't know what this red stuff is. I mean, it's not the shoulder, because because part of it is like on one of the oncoming lanes, I guess. But it's definitely interesting, for me at least, as like somebody who's seen like snippets of the game and of the gameplay, to see here's the red stuff. I don't know what this is. Here's, I think, the shoulder, but this is what I was talking about. But it's interesting to see like the actual game kind of be put into work, or not put into work, but like put to work. Like, this is the gameplay of the game. And it's interesting to see it because it literally looks like everything that CD Projekt Red has come to fruition. Like the varying districts. This is kind of like the suburban district. You know, I recognize it from the world of Cyberpunk, the book from Dark Horse. Like, here's all these palm trees and stuff like that. And if you go like down this street, there's going to be like some suburbia or some houses and stuff like that. So then they kind of get into luxury cars. And again, this is 1000. I don't know what version of the game that they're playing it on, but this looks just like a dev build or something like that. I don't know. But I mean, just notice this. It's done. It's ready. It's ready. And it looks great. So they talk about executive cars. I don't really get the relation with executive cars and gameplay and stuff like that. They talk about riding in style and all that stuff. By the way, I found that. Oh wait. I thought I got something. But if you kind of notice some of the cars, or if you've been noticing some of the other cars on the streets, for example. So in this particular scene or shot with this luxury car, there's the car that, you know, that they're trying to show off, but here, kind of just like, you know, driving away from you, or on, you know, or in the right lane, you're in the left lane. Here's the Quadra, right? There it is right there. It kind of goes fast and it kind of happens fast, but I mean, for everybody that has been worried about density within streets, I would say the streets are pretty fucking dense at this point. At this point, it's just like, you know, you got like probably like 10 or 12 cars behind you, plus another 2 beside you, and then there's probably going to be more cars in front of you as well. And then, I mean, like, you don't want to drive in dense streets. You want, like, the illusion of the streets being dense, because it's like, do you honestly want to have to drive in traffic? Is that something that you want to have to do? No, you don't. Oh, by the way, they showed a little bit of North Oak right here. Bang, right there. Here's North Oak. This is where all of the really, really rich people within Night City, they live, and they kind of show you driving around. It's interesting because not all of the cars are like fancy cars, you know? Like, you would expect that if you would go to North Oak, you would have these rich cars, and this kind of just seems like a normal van, you know? I don't know. We'll see. So they go a little bit further on in the trailer to talk about, here's, I think that's another variation of the Quadra. So, I mean, there's different variations of the Quadra. There's different variations of cars. I think this is another Quadra, and I think this is another Quadra. I think, like, right next to you are 2 vehicles. This is 1000% a Quadra. I think this is another version of it, right? So, point being is that there seems to be a lot of different, you know, hold on. Oops. Let me go back to the heavy duty. There seems to be a lot of different, like, models of the same, like, I don't know what it's called, like, make and model, right? There seems to be a bunch of different models of the same car, I guess. Like, there would be a street model, or no, that's incorrect. I guess there's like different variations of the same model, right? I don't know. We'll see. Like, I'm not a car person. I don't know if you can already tell that, but which, I mean, that's just a great thing to not be a car person, but then to talk about a bunch of cars within a video game. That's a fantastic job, 24. Anyways, they're showing off a bunch of the heavier cars and stuff like that. Interestingly enough, they kind of talk about tanks. These aren't tanks. These are just like trucks and stuff like that. These are like 18-wheelers. These are the heavier duty trucks and stuff like that. I think what's going to be interesting is once again to see if they actually reveal and release if you can attach weapons to cars, which I've constantly heard and seen within some of the media within Cyberpunk 2077. Again, if you read The World of Cyberpunk 2077, it's a book made by Dark Horse Books. If you read that book, in that book, there's a part where it's talking about this heavy machine gun and how it can only be really like attached to like cars and stuff like that. So they're showing you a bunch of tanks. I kind of wonder how and why you would want to drive any of these like heavier vehicles. It seems like one of the only vehicles that you would want to drive is the Quadra, because it seems to be the best. It seems to be the most interchangeable. You can customize it. You can add on different parts, and it's fast. Like this, I would not want to drive this. This sucks. This looks terrible. Not in the sense of like the actual design of the car or the truck, but I mean, like, what is this? This looks like a sweeper. Like one of those things that sweeps the road in the middle of the night. It's not a cool car. It doesn't look like it can go very fast. I'll talk about the speed in a little bit. So they're also showing off the different car manufacturers like Arasaka. They had a Militech truck as well. You running over people like you're in fucking GTA. Finally. We're getting towards the actual cars that I'm excited for. Not to say that the other cars aren't interesting, but the cars that I'm excited for. So here we go. We have, I think these are all Quadras. I think, right? And here's the thing, right? And I talked about it a little bit before this part. I talked about how apparently CD Projekt Red isn't allowing you to actually like customize the color variation and stuff. Like, I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about it. But like these cars look customized. Like, you know, like this has like one of those like racing colors and stuff like that, and a racing number on it. And there definitely is different colors of this exact same Quadra. Because again, this is a Quadra. These are different models of the Quadra, right? The Quadra is a manufacturing company. These are two models. I think this is the Turbo R VTEC or something, and this is just like the Turbo R or something like that. I think this is the older version of the Quadra. This is the newer version. So these two are from the same manufacturer, and this, I don't know what this is, but it looks like, right, like, because I've seen the yellow variation of it, it looks like you can customize car colors. I just don't know if that's a thing, right? So and they kind of even zoom in and give you a short little tease, right, of the Quadra. The reason why I'm like so obsessed with that car is because it's the car that apparently your protagonist is going to get off the jump, or one of the cars, right, that your protagonist is going to get off the jump, right? So here it is, like, here's the manufacturer, right? Quadra, right? There it is. That's how, and I've seen it before. I've seen this vehicle before. Same vehicle, right? So it even says it, Quadra type, I think that's 5.5. There's different variations of it. Like, for example, this is, hold on, wait, let me go back. For example, like, this looks like the road version of it, right? Like bigger tires. Like, I think the suspension is more reinforced, like it's in between the tires. I can't really tell here. But like you can even tell, like the wheels, the tires, they're not as big and as bulky as they once were when, you know, you're driving, off road, for example, right? And kind of going with that theme of, in Night City, it's a very, very clustered and dense environment. To go from that to now you're in the wide open area of the Badlands and you're driving around. And this is, what is this? I'm bad at enunciation. Mizutani, right? This is definitely from Japan. The production year, it seems like it ran from these two, from 2058 to 2069. And then the Kish, and then the style is Kish. The horsepower is 320. It's a coupe. Let me go back. Because let me see if the Quadra has that, right? The Quadra has it. Again, I'm obsessed with the car. Let me see what it has. Okay, so it's a Kish. The horsepower is 666. Oh Jesus. So yeah, the Quadra has a higher horsepower than the other car that they showed off. But I think they're going to show off one more car, and then they're going to go into the what is it? The heavy duty, right? I'm not sure. The heavy power. I don't know what it was called. But again, it's like they're kind of, so this was the the third car, the red car that I think was like, where was it? Because they had two Quadras, right? These were Quadras, and then this is the car, the Mizutani, whatever it was called, right? Hold on, here we go. So the Mizutani, they're going to show off the off-road variant of it, and then they're going to show the street one. So this is just, again, the Mizutani, but a different color. And again, it kind of begs the question of like, because I remember I saw a tweet from a developer, and they were like, yeah, we've kind of scrapped customization of the car, like color customization. But then it's like, I mean, this is red, not red, but oh my God, this is blue. The other car was red. I don't know. And again, obviously this is a different variation of the Quadra, right? This is the Quadra Turbo R, right? This is the car that you drive. The other variation is the Turbo 6.6, right? And it has 666 horsepower, which is why I'm guessing it's called Turbo, or not Turbo, but like Type 6.6, which it's a play on 666. But anyways, this is the Type 66, and then they're going to show the Mizutani, and then they're going to show the Turbo R. I thought it was the Turbo R VTEC, but I'm wrong, definitely. So they're showing this one off because this is the car that your character drives, and again, it's like it has the underglow, which I don't think I've ever seen before. It has this like really, really cool like artwork on the car. It has like Japanese writing on it and a tiger. The wheels are different. The colorway is different. And I mean, it's just a different car. Even, like from the other model, the other like Type 6.6 to this one, it's a different car. Like and this is the same car, right? Like they're showing you they're showing you, I guess, the depth of the customization, but also the different cars. But it's like, I also heard that you couldn't customize cars. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on it, seeing like how much actual customization is in the cars, or how many different cars, or not cars, but just like how many different ways you can be shown off, or how many different ways the same car can look, essentially. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. Like a yellow exterior, a pink interior, right? They were talking about, I think, the cars would be randomly generated and stuff like that, but I mean, how random is this? I guess it's random, but it's like I'm starting to not believe that you can customize your cars, that you can't customize your cars. And they're showing you driving around Night City. I don't know where this is, like this part of the city where there's just a bunch of garbage on it. Like I don't know where this is. This looks kind of like where you would exit Night City and where they're just dumping a whole bunch of garbage, I don't know. This looks like North Oak, because you're in the hills, right? So North Oak, if you don't know where it is in relation to the city, it's on a hill. So here's Night City. Obviously, you're on a hill. Here's Night City to your left, and there's something to your right. This kind of looks like North Oak, but it kind of just cuts to you a little bit, to you driving a little bit in front. Now, these cars are really, really fucking interesting, right? So what the trailer talked about with, what are these cars called? The hypercars, right? So these cars are interesting because the trailer kind of hints at that these cars are like heavy-duty, armored types of cars, but they also are the more expensive type of cars. I kind of wonder why you would want to get one of these cars, besides obviously they look cool. I don't know how fast they go, but they look cool, right? So I mean, this looks like a Bugatti, right? Like the grill kind of looks like it, except if the freaking glass was just painted over, right? I don't know what this is, and I don't know what that looks like. That looks like a BMW, But I mean, these look like exotic cars, right? Because they are supposed to be exotic cars. What is this? This is the Herrera model outlaw. What? And then, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed this about the production years about some of the cars, but most of the cars haven't had new models, right? So for Herrera? Yeah, I think it's called Herrera. For the Herrera to have like a car that was made like 2 years ago, that's like pretty fucking new, considering that like the other cars like the Quadra, it was made in like the 60s or in the 50s. The Turbo R, I think, was made in like 55 or something like that. So this is the Rayfield, right? This is the Bugatti. Model Caliburn. What? What does all this stuff mean? They're going to get into it. But Rayfield, and then this is Rayfield. By the way, if you're a fan of The Witcher, they kind of give you a nice little head nod with, or what is it, Easter egg? I don't know what it's called. But the Erendite is Geralt's sword that he uses in The Witcher 3 when you get the Blood and Wine DLC and you go to the Lady of the Lake and you get the sword. So this is named after, this car is named after Erendite Geralt's sword, which is a nice little Easter egg, I guess. But the interesting thing about these cars are their, like, cockpits, I guess, where the glass is, like, it's not see-through from the outside, but inside it's like a VR, or not even a VR, but apparently there's a bunch of cameras around the car, and once you enter into the car, like, you get essentially the perspective outside by the cameras, and these are supposed to be like heavily armored vehicles and stuff like that, even though they're hypercars and they drive really, really fast and stuff like that. And I have no idea what this teaser is for this, like, older car, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it definitely looks like it. It has like the old, like, it has a modern, you know, like speedometer, I guess, and the RPMs and stuff like that. My only question is, like, why would you want to drive it, you know, besides like the old classic look? I don't know. Anyways, I thought all that stuff was pretty interesting, and hopefully they get into more detail about it, and hopefully they fucking talk about it.
Paul, thank you so much for joining us. I think it's fair to say we've come a really long way from Roach in The Witcher, so there's a lot to talk about.
Yep, there's a lot to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's start with the various classes of different cars, because in the video we saw there were things like economy and luxury vehicles. But can you tell us a bit more about their kind of design philosophy? What does each kind of class offer when people are driving them around Night City?
Absolutely. Depending on the variation of the car that you're either buying or stealing, depending on your flavor, yeah, you'll notice that they don't just look different, but they'll also drive different and feel different. If you're buying or stealing a nice fancy-looking sports color version of a car, you'll notice that it drives, you know, faster, sounds a little bit more punchy and sporty than, for example, a junkier version of that same car. You know, it can have solar panels tied to the roof or some other pipes that are hot wiring some other, you know, cyberpunk components in your car. And, well, you know, if it looks cheap, it probably drives cheap too.
So it seems that not only do the cars look good on the outside, but there's an awful lot of detail on the inside as well. Things like the dashboard. So can you tell us more about that? Because I know if you find a Quadra Type 66 in the city, it's going to look totally different from the Quadra Type 66 that the gang's are driving out in the Badlands, both outside and inside.
Yep, definitely. If you're about to steal a very nice high-end car, for example, when you get in, you'll see the dashboard light up nicely, you'll see your dial indicators revving a little bit, but that may not exist for a junk version at all. It may have the dashboard ripped out completely. No matter what your flavor is, you'll find something that suits your needs.
So what about racing then? Will there be racing? Because I know people have been asking.
Yes, we're absolutely going to have several races in the game. Different locations, if you know you're going to be driving in the Badlands. Maybe bring a Nomad car, because it's just built for driving in the Badlands. But if you know you're going to be racing in Night City, just bring the hottest wheels you've got, because you're going to need all the power you can get. No matter where you're racing though, you need to bring a gun, because this is Night City and you never know what's going to happen.
Okay, so you talk about bringing cars then. Let's talk about like storing and calling cars, because we know people can steal them. What if some...
Okay. So, I want to hear her, and this is super scripted, by the way. I want to hear her ask if you can customize cars, because that, like, how does car customization work. And I get it. She works for the company. She probably she probably wrote down the questions that she was going to ask and then submitted it to CD Projekt Red, and they were like, cool. And then they gave the questions to him so he could have a prepared answer. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, I want to know if like you can customize cars, whether it's cosmetically, performance wise. They talk about how if a car looks different, it'll act different. Okay, straight, we got it. So the cosmetics will impact the performance. I want to know if I can take it to a body shop and paint over it or put new like parts in it and things of that nature. Besides just like steal it. Like how much of a pain in the ass would that be to have to steal a Nomad variation of the Quadra? And the example that they used was the Quadra Type 66. Like, it would be a gigantic pain in the ass to do that just to be able to go out to the Badlands and drive it around. I would like to be able to customize it. I think you can. Hopefully she asked the question.
He's found a car and they absolutely love this particular one. Is there a way for players to kind of build that collection? And then how do they actually, summon them?
Well, summoning cars works pretty much the same as you would summon Roach in The Witcher 3. Your transportation may or may not show up on a roof somewhere, but we're still working on fixing some bugs here and there. But yeah, if there's a car that you really, really like very much, if you can't wait to own a Quadra or a Type 66, you'll get a message from your fixer and says, hey, I've got a Quadra for sale for you, you want to buy it? All you have to do is drive over, pay the money, and you've got your very own Quadra. Not to mention that every single vehicle that you buy, every single player vehicle, is absolutely unique in every way. It's got a unique interior, unique exterior, paint job. It'll sound different, but it'll also handle different.
Another question that I would have to ask, like, about this whole situation with the cars is, so you can obviously buy vehicles, like, how would stealing vehicles work, right? So if I see, for example, and I don't have the timestamp, so we're just gonna have to like wait, or not wait, but like pause it here. Like if I, for example, see an Erendite or a Rayfield, or Rayfield is the manufacturer. I'm so bad with cars. If I wanted to steal the Bugatti, right? If I wanted that car and I wanted to steal it, right? And I wanted to make it my own, could I, for example, go to a nice neighborhood, go to North Oak, or hell, can I even just like go to a car manufacturer, like a car dealership, walk in, steal the car, drive away, and can I like program it to now be my car, so that way if I summon it, it's now my Bugatti? Or do I have to like jump through some hurdles, have a contact? Like what exactly, how does the economy of the cars work? Like, do I honestly have to buy a car, or can I just steal it, reprogram it, and now boom, it's mine? Like, how does that work? And again, probably not going to answer it, because it may be revealing way too much about the game.
Video, we did mention there was space for a true automotive icon. Do you want to reveal what that actually is?
Of course. The car in question here is Johnny Silverhand's car. And Johnny Silverhand is, well, he's a big rocker boy and he needs some wheels to match. So we gave him...
That's what they were teasing. They gave him a Porsche. I was like, the headlights, they look familiar. They gave him, and without even seeing like the full car, I'm like, that's a Porsche. Because I remember the Cyberpunk official Twitter, they tweeted out something yesterday where they were talking about like how we need a Porsche or whatever, and they were teasing it, and I was like, and this isn't gameplay, this looks like the real world, excuse me. But I was like, oh, that's what it is. So apparently you can find Johnny's old Porsche. That's pretty cool.
A 911 Porsche from...
Oh, no, that's gameplay. Never mind. I thought it wasn't gameplay. Never mind. It looks so good. Like if I showed you a still image of this, right? The Porsche sitting out. Like, I was like, oh, this isn't gameplay. This looks like the real world. And it's like, no, this is gameplay.
Match. So we gave him a 911 Porsche from 1977, which means in 2077, Johnny's car is going to be exactly 100 years old.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time today. Personally, I think I'm going to try and balance being a super cool badass mercenary and driving a Mai, because I love that little car. I think I could do it, right? I could be cool and in a Mai.
Definitely. Mai is absolutely cool as long as you stay on the road and not on the sidewalk.
I'll try my very best. We'll see. In past episodes...
Okay, so, yeah, they didn't answer... they didn't answer any of the questions that I... Like penetrating questions, like, like, can you customize your car? They talked about like stealing cars and stuff like that in street races a little bit. And yeah, they didn't talk about like what honestly, like the extent of car customization you have, right? And I think I saw like a little bit of a bug, right? Or pop in? Yeah, like right there. Right there. Right? With that car, it kind of stuttered, right? Right there. Boom. You can kind of see it. But it's a work in progress. But yeah, like the cars, I now have way more questions than answers. But it's not necessarily a bad thing though. It's not like terrible. It's just I'm wondering about the car customization and stuff like that, and how exactly can you make, for example, like what cars can you make into a nomad version or street version of that car, right? Because I'm assuming some cars are only going to be for the streets and others are going to be for the desert. So like how does car variation works and stuff like that? I really wish that they had gotten a little bit deeper into that, but you know, I mean, like you can't have everything, I guess. I don't know. I would also like the game is almost a month away from being released. I would love it if they just had you, or you as in V, the main character within the game, just fucking around in the game and not necessarily having to worry about like okay, we're gonna have an interview, we're gonna have questions, we're gonna have answers, we're gonna do this. I wish it was a little bit less structured and a lot more gameplay. Give me gameplay, please. Gameplay.
Episodes, we've said that music plays a huge part in bringing Night City to life, but it's not just music. Our teams went to incredible lengths to recreate and capture the sounds that really bring these vehicles to life. I mean, they might have had some fun driving them, but I'm pretty sure that's just a perk of the job.
Interesting. It's interesting that they talk about, like, this may be just me, but, like, I wish that they wouldn't, like, kind of dance around the problem. And the problem is that you probably have a game that could probably, like, I could play it from start to finish right now. Like, I could probably do that right now. The game, it may not be 100% polished. There's probably going to be a day one patch. We'll see. But, like, I could probably play the game start to finish. And the dance that they're trying to do is to not show off a lot about the story, about the gameplay to get you excited and interested for it. But at the same token, every single time they show off anything, it's like it's just, I'm just going to mute this because I'm probably not going to even care that much about it. The problem is that, like, there's so much stuff within the game that it's hard not to show off anything and not have questions about it later on, I guess. But to be honest with you, I haven't heard really a lot from the vehicle sounds because of, like, the only sounds that I've heard were, like, the Quadra booting up. That was it. So, anyways.
We started with the visuals, and then we wanted to, like, attach a proper sound to the visuals so that you have like a nice feeling or the nice vibe of the complete car. And then we moved on to organizing the whole thing. Early on, we made the decision that we are going to record on the racetracks, and then we are going to record cars in movement. We started cooperation with Tomek Choki, who is like very, very well-known racing driver in Poland. That's really a nice sensation when you're driving with a racing driver and then he pushes the car to the limits. Like, you can feel the G's with the braking and tight cornering, and you can feel the car actually like bending the laws of physics. We wanted to record a broad spectrum of cars, so we started with the powerful muscle cars, and then we went to more screaming tuned V6s, inline 6s, and then we went to V10s. We wanted to grab the off-road cars. We of course grabbed some drift cars, just to have the more aggressive character in the cars. We had to assemble a sound group or a sound team that would make the placing of the mics process very, very fast, because we had plenty of cars to do in a short time span.
We had the team of mechanics from a rally team, and they helped us immensely. What they've done, they've allowed us to put the microphones into places that we wouldn't be able to access differently. Putting a mic right into the car, They helped us to locate the places that are best.
Usually place 3 microphones in the engine bay, 3 microphones in the exhaust, and 2 microphones in the car. Cars are very, very complex in terms of sound, and it's very difficult to get all the necessary components that you have to make it sound believable.
But we were trying to look for something that would give us the character of the engine.
We wanted to use normal, organic, electric engine that you could actually have in the nowadays car.
We didn't want the engines to be futuristic, sci-fi-ish sounding. We want them much more organic, much more down-to-earth, something that would represent the combustion engine. And on top of that, we added small elements like the futuristic horns or like a futuristic UI of a car. It makes you feel like you are in a car of the future, and some car might talk to you, other car might have blips and bobs that will make you feel like you're in a futuristic vehicle.
We wanted to be very, very close to what Mike set up in the lore. And early on, we decided to record Johnny's original car, which is the Porsche 911 930 from 1977.
We recorded on dyno in control environment in a chamber. We could put Mike in very different places. Porsche 930 that we recorded is the only car really that will be really sounding like the real car in the real world.
We recorded more than 40 vehicles.
Not often do we record so many vehicles for a game that is not really a racing game.
Truth being told, this was the hardest part in my sound career, and I'm very, very proud of what we achieved with the sound team. This was something that we didn't do before, so creating the designs, creating the technology behind how the sound behaves, that's the best thing actually I ever did in my sound career.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of like that. I don't know. I'm not a car guy, but even I can, like the revving up of engines and stuff like that. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that was actually kind of cool, especially when they showed off the like how the cars will actually sound within Night City. Like they showed, especially this blue Quadra. Like listen to this. I don't know if you can hear it because they have like Spanish music playing over it, but I mean the cars they sound really, really cool. Which I was like, I don't know, I didn't know how much I would like this, but I was like, I kind of like it. I'll turn it up. How loud is it? It's actually kind of loud. I'll turn it up just a little bit more. Hold on. This is all like Night City cars, by the way.
We wanted to be...
some of them, they sound... they sound electric. They sound like a tuner, I guess. And some of them, they have that, that power, like, what was it? The Nomad car. It had that power...
Let
me mute it. It had that power that you would expect from a car that, has all this crap on it and it has to drive off-road and stuff like that. And you can even hear, like, the exhaust fumes, like, pumping out fire, and it's cool. For somebody that doesn't know anything about cars and stuff like that, that was cool. That was enjoyable. I'd also like to see more gameplay, but, I'm not going to talk about freaking gameplay anymore. All right, I don't know what they're going to show off next. I think, like, they're going to show off something with Stadia, which it's like, I don't care. I don't have a Stadia. Why would I want a Stadia? Apparently the game is delayed for Stadia. Great job, Google and Google Stadia. Awesome. One of the titles that you advertised heavily is now going to be delayed when the game is released.
Of talk about cars so far. So let's take a look at another collaboration. This time with Johnny Silverhand. I mean Keanu Reeves.
The smell. The travel.
Yeah.
Journey.
Freedom.
No, you know, it's not like deeper. Deep.
I'm Guard Hollinger.
I'm Keanu Reeves.
And we're here as representatives of Arch Motorcycle, and we're doing some audio recording for Cyberpunk 2077. Arch Motorcycle is a custom production motorcycle company. What's unique about it is that the motorcycles are built on a production platform, but each one is designed to be able to be personalized for each customer.
By the way, should also mention this, that some of the music that they use within like these videos are actually music that are going to be used within the game. So the Spanish track, this track that you're listening to, it's probably going to be in the game if you like it or don't like it.
When CD Projekt Red approached me about doing Cyberpunk 2077, they also spoke about integrating. They were fans of, or I guess people who worked at the company were fans of Arch Motorcycle, and so they broached the idea of creating kind of specialized Cyberpunk 2077 version of the Arch Motorcycle. And I thought that was a very fine idea.
We have a motorcycle we've designed and we've been developing called the Method 143, and so that I think in particular was a creative inspiration for the designers. So they sort of used that as a basis and then went further. So it has a totally different, crazy looking power plant.
We did a little customization.
It's good. I like it.
Today we're capturing sounds, getting some actual sounds of a power plant, drivetrain, and characteristics of the motorcycle, which I'm sure they will, you know, have play with and stuff, but the source will be pure.
It has a sort of a racing engine in it compared to our production motorcycles. It has a dual exhaust system, and it sounds pretty...
Sounds good.
I could definitely blindfolded tell that that's the Method 143-ish sounding motorcycle, yeah.
Nature of the role-playing aspect of the game, I think it'll be cool, like, to be on a bike and hearing that, going through the city streets and getting into the madness and mayhem.
So the end of that little like snippet, dude, I can't believe like how much work they're putting into like stuff like a motorcycle, right? Because it's like, you know, they have the cars, they have the, you know, the bikes now, they have, you know, the freaking flying stuff. I don't know if you could see it. There's some flying vehicles within the game, like right there, for example. They have like so much stuff within the game, and they just keep on adding more and more and more and more and more. It's ridiculous. Like, and you constantly like every single time I watch like some of the like bits of these gameplay, right? Bits of the game. Hold on. Excuse me. Like bits of the gameplay, right? You start to see kind of the same cars like over and over and over again, and not in a bad way, right? You kind of start to see, you know, like a Quadra can essentially be seen in almost all of these streets, or not all of these streets, but like on almost all of these like little trailers, right? So they really are trying to enforce, you know, this, like right there, for example. There, and I think even like they had two literally right next to one another, right? So, or two in like the same lane, right there and then right there, right? You can kind of tell by the tail lights. And it's just, they haven't revealed everything about cars yet. because there's some like makes and models. Like, what is this? There's another Quadra. It's the red one. What is this? What is that? What are the vans? What make and model are the vans, right? You know, what is like what's the red bike that you ride on in the 2019 gameplay? You know, like there's so much stuff that they just haven't revealed, and they're just giving you like, this reminds me of The Witcher 3. Like 5 years ago when they were showing off The Witcher 3, and there was so much stuff that they were just showing off like over and over and over again, and there was so much stuff that they had like yet to reveal. Like you honestly needed to play the game to be able to understand just how like deep and expansive the game was and still is. And it reminds me a lot of that, where it's just like they talk about cars and they talk about motorcycles and they talk about different not different versions, but like different economies of cars, from like the really, really like low economy to high economy cars and stuff like that, and the performance and the different variations depending on which region of the game you're in and things of that nature. Like there's so much stuff within the game that they've showed off, but they have so much more that they could show off. Like, it reminds me of The Witcher 3 and the marketing that they had with The Witcher 3.
As with all episodes of Night City Wire, if you're tuning in late or if you just want to watch anything again, we will be uploading everything to our channels soon. Now it's time to talk about styles in Night City. Are you more kitsch or neo-militarism?
A little bit of context for what neo-kitsch and neo-militarism are and stuff like that. It's essentially like it's style over substance, or substance over style, or whatever. Essentially, it's like quality over quantity, or quantity over quality. And then it's like there's a different like fashion brand or fashion like genre where it's like you can have very, very expensive taste that also has like a lot of quality, because there's like not a lot of quality, but can also be of like a high quality. Like there's stuff that looks expensive but isn't, and there's stuff that is expensive but doesn't look like it. Like, I think they'll explain it better than I can in a couple of seconds.
Welcome to the brief authoritative history of Night City. This chapter is devoted to so-called styles, deeply linked with the history of the world, and a very important aspect of life in the city. You can find them everywhere. In cars, clothes, guns, implants. They are your war paint. As one of our sponsors says, it matters not if you're dead, as long as you're doing it in style.
The moves on this girl! Swoosh, swoosh! Slicing them up like sashimi!
4 visual styles are evident in the Night City of 2077.
Before, like, they kind of, you know, go on and describe this stuff, this is what they were talking about, right? And if you've seen any marketing for Cyberpunk and Night City and stuff like that, you've seen this poster before. It's on the world of Cyberpunk, the cover of the book. Like, they have these 4 different styles. They'll get into it. We'll also talk about what they just showed off with character customization here in a little bit.
Each with its own history, status, and features. Neon hair, illuminated tattoos, and chrome. Function comes second. Looks are what matter.
With you, and we got another day ahead of us in this city.
So apparently I'll never learn to plug in my computer before I start podcasting for like over an hour. I unplugged it because it was like at almost 100%. So I was like, I'll remember to plug it in later. And I didn't. And then I freaking tried to podcast again, and then my internet was shot. And then it's like, here we are, back again, right? Where were we? We were with like the Neo-Kish. And I kind of already went over some of this in like one of the other mini podcasts that I tried to, one of the failed like recordings. So I'll just like run it again, and then we'll talk about what kind of happens throughout the rest of this, and we'll get back on track very, very shortly.
Stanley here with with you, and we got another day ahead of us in this city of dreams.
The Fourth Corporate War broke out, and entropism was born. Vast and deep crises forced people to find ways to survive by any means. Getting the job done, no matter how, was the primary goal. The look? Who cares?
I love this town. Love it like you might love a mother who popped you out on the steps of an orphanage once and now stops you to ask if you got a smoke for her.
Fuck them. Fuck this job. Fuck this city.
Deadly elegance without ostentation. Corporate, militaristic fashion, mostly seen in the wealthier parts of town. Substance over style, that's the motto. Celebrities, brain dance stars, business magnates, heirs to corporate fortunes and corporate executives. They abandoned the cold, deadly elegance of neo-militarism and returned to the roots of kitsch, but gave it a fresh, new look.
Oh shit, these hands. Sometimes it seems like I just brushed something and sparks fly.
Thank you for your attention. We wish you a very pleasant stay in our marvelous metropolis. Good luck, and goodbye.
NC's Legends. Know where you'll find most of them? The graveyard. Luckily, matters not where you're from, matters not where you start. What matters here is the walk you walk.
And we get another fucking ad. Fantastic. So we're gonna kind of, if the ad ever loads, we're gonna talk about essentially all of the. Okay, thank God it doesn't load. Okay, we're gonna talk about like all of the different styles that are in Night City. Also, I don't know if you saw it at the top of the trailer, but there was a teaser for character creation and stuff like that. So we'll kind of get into that if the video will ever load. It's funny. It's like how the ad can load and disrupt everything. The ad can literally disrupt everything and freaking... I don't know what's going on with this webpage, man. Like, I've been struggling with this webpage. There it is. Finally. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, it doesn't load the ad. It doesn't load the fucking video. God, man. This is a mess. Anyways, let me... do this a bajillionth, or not a bajillionth, but again, which it's like I have to freaking make the video settings like from 460 to like 1080p 60 frames because my internet doesn't automatically do that. So yeah, awesome. All right, so I think that's the end of that trailer. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit more afterwards. Not the Stadia event announcement thing that they're going to have, but something else. And I literally am struggling to get... like, my microphone stand is broken, and I cannot seem to get it to, like, lock in. I don't know what the proper term is, but I can't, like, get it to fucking just not fall down. Anyways. All right, let's continue forward.
Just before this episode started, you might have tuned in early and seen our Cyberpunk cosplay contest finale. But just in case you've missed it, we've prepared a little summary for you featuring...
Okay, so is that it? Okay, so are they gonna do the... okay, so they're gonna show off all the contestants. Okay, I'm not... like, they've made it a pretty big deal about the cosplay event. I'm not that big into cosplay, so I'll kind of just, like, skip past this, because I'm not that big into it. Anyways, the 3 or the 4 styles that they showed off, Kiss, I don't know what the other one, Kiss, Neo-Militaristic, and Neo-Kiss. So what they just showed off here, we have like essentially the character creation, right? So you have all of her tattoo, and by the way, she also has some tattoos as well. I think this is one of the main presets, right? So you have these 3 kind of presets for the main character, this being kind of one of them. I think, by the way, if you're wondering, she's also the cover of the game, or one of the covers, because apparently the covers are reversible. So you can either have the girl be the cover for the video game, or you can have the guy, whichever one suits you. But she is one of the presets for the game and one of the main styles. So, or not one of the main styles, but one of the main looks that you can have within the game. So this kind of looks this looks similar to what they showed off when it comes to the character creation in 2018, with some differences, some variances. There really isn't a whole lot here that's completely different from what they showed off 2 years ago in 2018. But the only differences that I can tell is that there's less details, or not less details, I shouldn't say that, but there's like, you know, like you can scroll down, like usually they had, or not usually, but they used to have like all of the options that you would have wanted, like just right off the bat, like you wouldn't have to scroll down, I guess. I don't know, like that's really the only difference. They also have the actual presets. I kind of wanted them to go further into detail about character customization and character creation in general. We may get that later on, but probably not now, considering that this was like only essentially like one frame or another. By the way, essentially they're trying to make this game, like, I think the term is gender neutral, I think. I don't know, but essentially, right, so essentially, like, you, if you have like a male body, or if you pick to have like a male body or whatever, your character will be referred to as a male. If you pick a female body, other characters will refer to V with female pronouns, i.e. she/her. So that's kind of what they're trying to go for. They're trying to have like a gender neutral character. So if you want to be, you know, like transgendered or cisgendered, or I don't know the proper terminology, but you know, it's like, you know, you can be whatever you want to be within the game, right? So that's what they're trying to go for. And this is, I think, Kish, the style that they're showing off right now, which is essentially style over substance, meaning that you have a bunch of people that don't have a lot of money acting as if they have a bunch of money. So, you know, the Kish are kind of like the flashy. That's not a great image to pause on. They're kind of flashy. They have, you know, the cool cars, the tattoos. Here's, by the way, a cool little head nod to Johnny Silverhand right here, where he's like holding up somebody. Here he is, not holding up somebody, but this is actually Johnny Silverhand right now. This is his hand. This is the gun that he had. For some weird reason, he has it in a crowd full of people, and it looks like he's about to perform. I think I've seen clips of this, but not the full thing. And here's him holding up somebody, and they're showing kind of the relationship with how kind of Kish. How kind of Kish relates to your character, and how your character will essentially be formed. Also, they're showing, I guess, one character, or maybe, I don't even know if they're going to be a character in the game, but just some murderous person freaking tear into somebody. Jesus Christ. It's so bad I have to see it once again, right? Hold on. Goodness gracious. Just look at that. Ugh. They're showing this girl, this lady, act as if it's like a reality TV, act as if, you know, just murdering a bunch of people is like a reality TV show. Oh, they didn't even get into the Kish. They didn't even get into what I was trying to talk about. So this is the, you know, the style over substance. By the by, a lot of stuff that they showed off here that is kind of relative to the game and some of the characters that are in the game. Here they are. So these 3 girls here with the weird eyes, the weird, like, eyes, excuse me. These girls are sponsored by Kuroshi. Kuroshi is a cyberware company that specializes in eyes. So they get, you know, they're sponsored by them, so they get all the money, or not, they get money from sponsorships, excuse me, but they also get like free upgrades and stuff like that. Here's some stickers if you want to sticker bomb something. Right? So they're showing you essentially the style. By the way, this guy with the luminescent tattoos, this guy, what's it called? He's a part of the, the Wolf game, the Tiger Claws. I think that's what it's called. He's a part of that gang, the Tiger Claw gang. But I haven't really seen any other character with, like, the luminescent tattoos. I think I just saw one person. Not this girl. I think it's her, right? So I think this is either luminescent tattoos or this is just, like, a part of her stockings or whatever. No, actually they are, right? Because here are her stockings, right? Here are her legs. Like, her tattoos are glowing right now, right? And you don't really see anybody else, like, just kind of looking. You don't see anyone else with this same glow, you know? Like, nobody's glowing, you know? And they're showing, you know, how essentially people are living with, like, this neon hair, these neon, you know, clothing and stuff like that. And kind of how people live with, like, brain dance and shit like that. And then they go over to the other gang. What's it called? Oh, yeah, this was interesting where they had the guy jumping around with his new legs, right? To show off, hey, he's got more cyberware. He's got better augmentations. By the way, no idea what she's, like, what her role in the game is. But if you kind of look around, her like, TV show, I don't know what it's called, but it's like, it follows, I guess, the violence that happens within Cyberpunk, or Night City, excuse me. Except it would be, like, in a more reality TV show format. Like, here's some of the cyberware that she has. Here are some of the guns that she's probably going to give people, I guess. I don't know. And then they go on to, like, entropism. I don't know what that means. But they showed off essentially how it's just people are just living, right? They're just like, they don't care, right? Like, that guy is in some of those, like, 80s basketball shorts that were way too high up. This guy doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. Look at him. Just look at him on the stairs. He's just like, I don't care. But this is where, by the way, I think the 6th Street Gang, or the 7th Street Gang, I can't remember which one. But this is where they reside. So this is kind of like a suburban neighborhood, if you want to call it that, where a lot of the workers of Night City, they live, right? It's kind of dirty. It has a bunch of garbage everywhere, but I mean, that's what, you know, a lot of people have to deal with, right? And it's kind of, and I'm guessing that's where we saw the, I forgot what car, but I'm guessing it's where we saw the car driving through all the trash and stuff like that. So they're going with neo-militarism and what essentially all of the corporate guys and gals they wear and they drive and stuff like that. It's a lot of black and a lot of red, a lot of foreboding colors. So this car that you saw here, right? The term neo-militarism is essentially all about making, not making, but it's about the style of having substance over style. So you're having like you're having like quality stuff, but it doesn't look cool, right? So as evident by this Militech truck, right? So this is what, I forgot the Militech representative, her name is, but this is what she arrives in when you first meet her. And if you saw the 2018 gameplay demo, you know that this whole alleyway, it's a lot more wide open. It was a lot more brighter. There wasn't like something like above you or whatever blocking out the sun. And you'll kind of get a brief little glimpse of her here in a couple of minutes, or not even a couple of minutes, but in like a couple of seconds, right? So, I mean, it's just red, black, foreboding colors, stuff like that, in a foreboding style. So this is her. So she's freaking, she has this guy hack into you. You'll see his red eyes in like a couple of minutes or in a couple of seconds. This guy, they're trying to gain information from to see if like he's the mole, if he's the rat. And that's what this whole interrogation is all about. And you kind of arrive to get information about the Maelstrom gang, that is the cyberbot that you're trying to get for Dexter Deshawn, so that way you can be like a better and more permanent fixture, I guess. So here's his red eyes because he's hacking you right now. And here they are actually when you get the bot back and you kill all of the Maelstrom gang. Or you just let them kill each other. So here they are, bang. I don't know who this guy is. I think this may be your former boss or something like that. Here's an aerodrone or space car thing, flying thing. I don't know. But here they all are going inside the Militech. Not the Militech, the Maelstrom gang hideout. And even like, I don't know if you can see this, right? So they're talking about neo-kish, for example, as a fashion. Even like the jaguar or the cheetah. I don't know what this is. Even he has cyberwear, right? Like, kind of look at his lines, right? Like, that's cyberwear in his face. Like, that's so weird. And even the animals, I mean, maybe not so weird, but it's like even the animals have, you know, cyberwear. It kind of begs the question of like what you could do with the animals within the game, like if you could have an animal component to it. So this is, I think, a big board meeting at Arasaka, right? So this person is a celebrity. This is like a I don't know what they're called, like brain dance celebrities. Like this is a brain dance celebrity, right? And some of them, I think I finally caught one. Some of them have different metal linings in their body, right? So no, she doesn't have any. But I think it's this girl. No, she doesn't have any either. But there's some people that have the ability to afford, instead of it being like stainless steel or like just silver metal linings, they would have gold and platinum metal linings within their bodies instead of just, you know, the regular metallic linings and stuff like that. There's kind of a semi-good example of it. If I can see it here. Let me see it. This is kind of what I'm talking about here, where there's some reflection of gold and stuff like that. He has like a bunch of chains, by the way, to represent, you know, that he's freaking rich and stuff like that. And also these like full body, for example, modifications where she's see-through. Maybe not see-through, but it looks like she's made out of glass. Like this is like a rich person. Which it's like, how does that fucking even work? Where it's like your whole body, it's not even made out of skin. It's made out of just like glass metal, you know? And and by the way, this is North Oak. This is where a lot of rich people, maybe not celebrities, but the, sorry for hitting my microphone, but a lot of the rich of Night City, the corporate executives, the CEOs, this is where they all live, by the way. In these like really, really posh areas, right? Like check that fucking shit out. That's a casino. I thought this was a house, right? So you can kind of see this is where the rich and the prosperous, they live. But on the flip side, here in the back, you see the Badlands, right? The desert area. I don't know what this is. But you can kind of see just like the dichotomy of Night City where, you know, you have people living in lavish and luxury and water and grass and palm trees and then a desert. A dry, arid desert. Here's what I was talking about. Finally, I saw one. Oh yeah, even he has some, right? Like he has a metal hand, which isn't necessarily that rare, but he has a gold... He has a gold hand. If I can pause fast enough. God damn it. Let me get it one more time. Wait. Boom. There it is, right? Gold hand. Instead of like a regular silver or metal hand, right? And then they're going to have her. This is the metal lining that I'm talking about. That's not a bracelet, I don't think. I think that's actually metal lining within her body. And she freaking has it because she's rich. For no other reason. And then they kind of go into, I don't know, like this like little teaser of the start of your adventure. This is you going into the net, or actually coming out of it. And they're showing like some slow motion stuff of you and Jackie getting into a bar fight at the Afterlife. That was with Dexter Deshawn. That was kind of like during the 18-19 trailer, I think, right? So they're showing you and Jackie, and then boom, you get smacked in the face. And then this is you when you're about to die. Or maybe you do die. Apparently, everybody gets sent to every dead body gets sent to like the graveyard or the garbage or the dumpster or whatever it's called, whatever he talked about. And I'm guessing that's where they throw your body after they try to kill you. This is interesting because this is your first like encounter with this Ripper Doc, or not your first encounter, but this is an encounter with the Ripper Doc that was shown off at the beginning of the 2018 gameplay demo. He gives you the Kuroshi, and he's in a completely different setup. Like this whole stuff completely different than what it was 2 years ago, to the point where it's almost unrecognizable. Even the shop, like I think this is Jackie's girlfriend, even she is a little bit unrecognizable because I think she had like blue or purple hair or something like that. I don't And I think that's it for the Night City Wire event, unless I'm missing something else. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure that's it. I think they're gonna do the costume event, and then that's just gonna be it. Let me see.
For you, featuring our very talented finalists. In the Cyberpunk cosplay contest, we asked our very talented community to cosplay a character from the game based on the art, screenshots, videos, cosplay guides, etc. We thought regular trophies weren't quite cool enough, so we decided that the top 3 will receive detailed props based on weapons from the game. They have been specifically made for this occasion, and the winners can do with them as they please. And now, the 12 best Cyberpunk cosplayers who have competed for first place in the first official Cyberpunk 2077 cosplay contest. Are you ready to meet them?
I know that they made like a really big deal out of this. Like, I know that they had a bunch of advertisement for it. I know they did like a bunch of marketing for it and things of that, and they got a lot of people involved in the cosplay content. It's awesome. It's cool. I'm not into it. I'm not into it because I would love to see actual gameplay, you know? I'm not into it. It's not because they're bad. It's not because the cosplay is bad or anything like that. It's actually pretty awesome. But it's just like, dude, I want to, like, I want to see gameplay, you know? I want to see gameplay. That's all I'm trying to say. So they're showing all of the different versions and variations of V and all these other people, and yeah, they look cool. Not really interested. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Is it done? Is it over with? I think that's it. After, like, one more thing. Hold on.
The Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah. I also forgot to mention, if I didn't already mention it, that that Google Stadia is going to have, or Google Stadia is going to be able to release Cyberpunk 2077 on release day of the game, which it was something that they promised when Google Stadia was announced, but then it got pushed back for some weird reason, and now it's back on, which, like, to be honest with you, it shouldn't be that big of an announcement, because it's like, it's just something that, you know, that should have already happened that isn't now happening, or that wasn't going to happen but now is happening.
Was coming to Stadia, and today we can tell you that it is arriving on November 19th alongside other platforms, and pre-orders are starting now. Night City Wire is almost over, but if you do want just a little bit more, then stay tuned right here on the Twitch channel and join us for our post show. As always, don't forget that if you've missed anything or if you just want to watch again, we will be uploading everything to our channels shortly, and we'll be back with Night City Wire Episode 5 soon. No, actually, there is one more thing we're going to show you. Welcome to the diner.
So what do you want? Supercar? Big house? You want to rule this city? Well, you ain't getting anywhere without an upgrade. You need a softer touch, stronger spine, because taking over Night City ain't gonna be easy.
I'm in.
Cyberpunk 2077. Available November 19th.
That's it? That's it? Okay, that's it. So let me kind of go back to that little kind of CGI trailer that they had. This was shown off. I don't know if any of you saw this. This was shown off during the NBA Finals, or parts of it were shown off during the NBA Finals. Perfect timing, by the way, by CD Projekt Red. Like, they were like, you know what, we're going to time our... and I know this probably wasn't incredibly intentional, but they literally timed Night City Wire, this game, or not this game, but this event, with the with the end of the with the NBA Finals and stuff like that. I think it was just smart marketing. I don't know, but we'll see. So they're kind of showing V talking to somebody. This may be a fixer or somebody. And again, you know, as much as they talked about cars in this, you know, in this Night City Wire episode, I feel like they also like how does stealing cars work? You know, beyond just going in and stealing cars? You know, how does this work? Can I honestly, like, if from the start, from the time that the open world gets opened up to me, can I honestly just jump into a vehicle, any vehicle that I want, and take it and it be mine? Or is there a lot more of a complicated and complex process with stealing and then owning the vehicles, you know? So they even show off, you know, this mansion that you're in, right? Or this mansion that you could be in, which it looks like, yeah, this is in North Oak, or some part of it, right? And a girl, and it's the question, and it kind of begs the question, it's like, what exactly are you doing in Night City? You know, besides enacting revenge on who, like, why would you want to, do you want to enact your own revenge or Johnny Silverhand's? Like, the story still hasn't really been revealed besides just, like, Johnny Silverhand, you get the chip, you get the immortal chip that stores his consciousness. For some weird reason, it's placed inside of you, and that's it. So how does this work? And they're showing, you know, freaking cyberware implantations. This is, by the way, I saw this, but I didn't see a better image of it. This is the Kuroshi, like, freaking, what's it called? The Kuroshi cyberware, right? And you can see there's this, like, little, I don't even know what this is, but this chip that displays the image on your retina. So it's like you see it, like, this is so cool, this type of stuff. You see it, like, as you're walking around and you see it on your retina, and it's literally just freaking shown on your retina, and it's awesome. They're showing you drive away in the Bugatti, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. I know it's not a Bugatti, but it's supposed to look like one, right? So they're showing you drive away, and they're showing you actually get into this fight with, I don't know if that's the police or if that's trauma team or somebody, but your door is freaking open and you pull out your gun and you shoot at them, and I mean, it's just awesome looking. And I wish that I could actually see that in action instead of a trailer, which I fucking hate trailers. But, you know, I'm happy with what we got today. That was actually kind of fun. I liked a lot of what they showed off today. I liked a lot of what they had. I hope they show off way more. Maybe not hope, but I mean, I would like to see, like, what they did in 2018, where they had, you know, a pretty like solid build of the game, and they would essentially take you through the through different districts and kind of get into different things and situations. Like they did it in 2014 or 2015 with The Witcher 3, where they had a really solid build of the game ready to play, and they just played it. And I mean, it was scripted, but it didn't necessarily look that scripted. And I mean, I just can't wait for the game to come out. I know it comes out in a month. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been 24's Podcast, the best video gaming and sports podcast on the entire internet. If you like this podcast, you can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and RadioPublic. Pretty much where you can find any podcast, you can find my podcast, 24's Podcast. I'll be back very soon to freaking release something. I don't know. But hopefully Cyberpunk Night City Wire episode 5 is that episode where they're either going to have like a very, very big maybe not a big announcement, but a big chunk of gameplay, and hopefully it's going to be really, really close to the release of the game. Hopefully they actually stream parts of the game during like when the game is supposed to be released and stuff like that. I can't wait for Cyberpunk to come out. Ladies and gentlemen, until my next podcast, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.